Hello, I'm Paul Perrello, and welcome to the Philly Factor. Well, it's that time of year. The hustle and bustle of the holidays really start to surround us. It's that time of year. It's Christmas time, and there is really a gem of a tour that I want to introduce to you here on the Philly Factor. For 45 years, many of you may not even realize this, but a number of homes in Fairmount Park are decorated for Christmas. This year, in celebrating their 45th anniversary, the holiday tradition will continue with a special theme. This tour, first of all, features 6 of Fairmount Park's treasured historic homes. Christmas in Fairmount Park, A Very Merry Christmas, features 6 homes decked out in the season's finest, and this year promises to showcase what makes Philadelphia a very special place. Of course, you can't have a celebration unless you have music, food, neighbors, and families. Here to talk to us about this special presentation, 2 folks. First of all, I'm going to introduce Ed Miller. He's the Historic Houses Coordinator for Fairmount Park Conservancy, and Lucy Strackhouse, who's Senior Director of Preservation and Project Management, Fairmount Park Conservancy. And I want to welcome you both.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
You know, before the show, I said, it's hard to believe 45 years that neither one of you were there from the very beginning.
Right.
And I was kind of surprised to know that it has been that long that these homes have been put on holiday display. But I don't want to say it's a best kept secret, but it really is one of the best kept secrets, especially around the holidays. Now, I want to talk about the homes, what goes into opening these homes, and I know there's a lot of preparation work that goes into it, but this year is a special year. It's your 45th anniversary. Yeah. So, Ed, maybe you could tell us about how did you get to celebrating with this special theme for this holiday season?
Well, like you mentioned, Paul, I mean, every year we come up with a theme, and you know, this year as we were coming into it with our 45th year, it just seemed almost natural that we want to celebrate the city where these houses reside. Yeah. So we talked about a very Philly Christmas, and we were very excited about how broad that theme could be and what we could invite to have come into the house where people can celebrate that theme with us. But like you mentioned, you know, we kind of whittled it down to what makes the city great, and it's, you know, the music here is amazing, the food here is tremendous, and the families who live here generation after generation, and our neighbors. So that's kind of how we were able to structure that theme. Yeah.
Now, Lucy, we said 6 homes are actually on display for this tour. How many homes are in historic Fairmount Park altogether?
That's a really tough question to answer. I mean, there are over 300 historic buildings in Fairmount Park.
Okay.
Many of them are used for other purposes. So we have what we call our historic houses, or the charms of Fairmount Park. And those are right in the central part of Fairmount Park, which is East and West Park, lining the Schuylkill River. And so we have the 6 houses featured on the Christmas tour this year.
Okay. So when you talk about some of those other buildings, might the new home for the Police Touch Museum Memorial Hall, is that one of the, you know, centerpieces of Fairmount Park?
Of course, and that was a building that was used for the art gallery during the Centennial Exposition in 1876. So as you know, the Police Touch Museum moved in there maybe about 10 years ago and restored the building to the Police Touch Museum, and it's a great place for families to go and visit. I think it's open almost every day of the year.
Yeah. So how does your organization then decide which homes then become part of this Christmas tour? Are they the same 6 homes every year, Ed, or do you add, subtract, try to change it up from year to year?
I would say those 6 homes are pretty much the core group that's involved every year, and then we always look for other partners that we feel could fill in and kind of expand the theme or offer a more compelling program, you know, to the public. So we've had like Shifuso Japanese House join us on certain years. We've had Ormiston Mansion join us on other years, but those six core houses are always, pretty much always involved.
Now, these homes are historic buildings, so you really have to, when you open them up to the public, and they're open up pretty much throughout the year for the public to visit, correct?
Yep.
April
through December, pretty much.
Yeah. So now you're adding decorations to these homes to sort of bring us back to, are we going back to what the homes looked like in their heyday, or because of this celebration this year, are we going to see maybe these homes take on a little more of a modern twist for the holidays? What can we expect this year?
Yeah, that's a great question. Each house will have its own decorating theme.
Okay.
But they will be inspired by the theme of A Very Philly Christmas.
Okay.
So certain houses will have famous Philadelphians as their theme. So you might see some silhouettes, which is a classical way of looking at a portrait of someone's face. That'll be in the house. We're going to have Made in Philadelphia is another theme. Will be at another house. So it'll be about different trees and different holiday things that were created here in Philadelphia. So each house is a little different. It's not like one decorating style is used throughout all 6 homes.
So Lucy, I suspect that it's not just you and Ed that are sitting there sketching out what these houses are going to look like for the for the upcoming Christmas season. That there have got to be volunteers that work broadly with your organization, but those volunteers that work specifically on those homes to make sure that they're meeting the goals of the themes that you want for these homes.
You are very correct in that. I mean, we have many, many people. It's an army of people that help with all these houses. And of course, everything we do is in partnership with Parks and Recreation too. So they also help with us. We have many garden clubs. We have florists. We have just people that love the houses and like to give tours. So there's really, over 50 people probably that help with all of these houses and the decorating themes. And when the garden clubs are involved, they develop their own theme and they donate all of the florals and the natural boughs and the greenery, and it's a wonderful thing for us to have their input and their help. And there's a lot of expertise in these groups. That's really a great thing to have.
Yeah, we definitely couldn't do the program without the garden club's participation. It just wouldn't happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this year there are a number of events that will really kick in earnest right after Thanksgiving. I mean, there are a number of days where there are special tours that are going to take place. So Ed, why don't you just give us sort of a brief rundown, and we're also going to put the website up on the screen for people to check out the website where they can get all the particulars about the upcoming holiday tour. But give us an idea of what some of the events surrounding this year's anniversary are going to focus on.
Yeah, sure. So we're very excited because, as you mentioned, A Very Philly Christmas. So looking at music, we have a day dedicated just to that. So we call it Sounds of the Season. It's going to be happening on Saturday, December 3rd from 10 o'clock till 4 p.m. And we have amazing partners, and they're all Philadelphia-based organizations. We have people like Opera Philadelphia who will come out to one of the houses to perform. We have some mummers. You can't have a Philly event without the mummers, right?
That's right.
Has to be some mummers. And then we have also the Philadelphia Jazz Clef Club will be out. We have this wonderful, authentic Philly doo-wop group coming out, and they're amazing. And also AMLA, which is a Latin Arts Performing High School up in Hunting Park, are going to be coming as well. And then we're going to also be featuring some student musicians from Philadelphia, sort of the next generation of Philadelphia talent. So we're going to be doing that as well. And also on that day, we're going to have, I'm not sure, Paul, if you're familiar with Parks on Tap, which was a program that Parks and Rec and the Conservancy had done this past year, having sort of a mobile beer garden in different parts of the park system. And that actually will be taking place also on December 3rd. We'll have a holiday edition of that out in front of historic Strawberry Mansion.
Okay. And so I asked before the show, are all of these homes then within walking distance of each other, or there's actually going to be a special bus for this, the first few days of this tour, where you will be able, for an admission and for a price, you'll be able to ride the bus to take in all 6 homes, right? Is that correct?
That's
correct. I mean, what's wonderful about having these houses out in the park is, if we have a big event downtown, parking's always a challenge.
Yeah.
Each one of these houses has free parking, so you can drive out to any one of these houses and park. Wonderfully, we partnered with Philly Flash.
Okay.
So anyone from downtown, anyone could just park at a house and hop on the Flash. It's only $5 for an all-day pass, and it'll loop around to all the houses on East Park.
Excellent.
Yep.
Now, the thing that I like is that, chances are you could be driving through Fairmount Park and you see these homes, and for so many months out of the year, they're just homes as you drive through the park. And then all of a sudden, look, they are vibrant, they're beautiful, they're gorgeous, they serve a purpose throughout the year. But you add a little bit of holiday decoration and these homes really pop. They really do get a lot of attention. And maybe that's what causes you to stop on the side of the road and say, gee, I want to explore this further. If they're not going to be part of a formal tour like this, can they stop during the holiday season and maybe peek in the window or even go into the home to see what's going on?
Sure, of course they can, and we welcome them to come, and they can come really to any of the homes and just buy a pass for one house and go in and see it, or they can buy for several homes and go in and see them. We're really hoping people do come for the holiday experience, as we're calling it, but the regular historic tour will be available on the days that we don't have some special events going on.
I see.
Right.
Okay. So with the historic tour, then, are you more likely to get a taste of history in these homes as opposed to some of the contemporary events?
Exactly.
Is that
For
Yes,
sure.
and there are so many great stories with these houses, so we're really hoping people will, their interest will be tweaked and they will come back, because just the stories about the families that lived in these homes and built these homes and all of the amazing things that have happened on these homes and how they all became part of Fairmount Park is very interesting, and we really can't do justice to that story during the holidays because there's so many other great things going on.
Sure. It's not without reason to know that Independence Hall and the Betsy Ross House and the Edgar Allan Poe House, they get all the attention downtown. And it's homes like this that are really some of the best kept secrets, because all of these homes have a history unto themselves. I mean, in many cases, the elite of elite lived in these homes in Philadelphia. It was a way to retreat from the city out to what was then the William Penn's greenery. It was outside of the city and sort of a respite from the hustle and bustle of what was going on downtown. So each of these homes have their own specific history. I mean, any idea, and we're going to show some pictures here as they come up on the screen, maybe we could talk about some of the homes that we're going to see, but who lived in these homes, I mean, back in the day?
Well, one of I would say one of the more important homes perhaps is Lemon Hill, because it's really the beginning of Fairmount Park. And that home was built on land originally owned, of course, by William Penn, and then built by Mr. Pratt in 1800. Very successful merchant, lived there until his death and used it basically as a summer house till about 1838. Interesting man, outlived 3 wives and most of his children. And that house was sold to developers for $245,000 in 1838. That's a pretty amazing sum of money for that time period.
Yeah, and so was it possible that those developers were going to demolish the home and build something else there? Or, I mean, because one thing that I've learned from doing many of these shows is that we didn't pay close attention to our history back in the day. I mean, we lost the Ben Franklin house down there because, no one really cared about the Ben Franklin house. It's amazing today that was the case, but the fact that these homes are maintained even to this day is pretty remarkable. Was it, or is it because of the overriding caveat that development in Fairmount Park was not going to happen because they wanted to maintain the integrity of Fairmount Park?
Well, that is true, and the reason they wanted to maintain the integrity of Fairmount Park is because the city leaders wanted to protect the water supply for the citizens.
I see.
So industry was starting to creep onto the banks of the Schuylkill River, and to prevent that, they started buying these properties that were lining the river. So one by one, they became part of Fairmount Park, either by purchase or sometimes donated by the families.
So one of the homes that we just saw was Lemon Hill, and I'm thinking, how did it get its name, Lemon Hill? I mean, was there a lemon orchard in the back, or what's the reason?
Yeah, there was actually there were greenhouses near the building, and they actually had lemon trees. So that's where it got its name.
Yeah. Now, are those lemon trees? I don't want to throw a curveball here, but I mean, you don't necessarily think of lemon trees growing in the city of Philadelphia, but are those? Is that greenery, that shrubbery, those trees, those orchards that no longer there?
No longer there.
Yeah,
No, sadly.
The greenhouses disappeared sometime by the early 1800s. They were gone.
Wow. Okay. So let's talk about another one of the houses then that is also on this tour. So we mentioned Lemon Hill. What else? What other homes are on this tour?
We could talk about Mount Pleasant a little bit. Mount Pleasant has a great history, a great story. John McPherson was the person who built that house out in the park, and he was basically a Scottish pirate, I guess.
That's right. He made his money as a pirate
he was
when
a
it was
privateer.
legal to be a
pirate.
pirate.
He was a sanctioned pirate.
Sanctioned pirate.
Sanctioned pirate. But he made a lot of money, in that trade, and then maybe understandably was a little ostracized from Philadelphia society because of what his career was, and was like, I'll show them, I'm going to build this amazing house, and he did, this gorgeous house out in the park. It's beautiful, and the art museum currently manages that
He's
house.
the steward of that house.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So are not only the 6 homes here, but you said there are like 300 structures that are throughout Fairmount Park. So generally speaking, who then maintains or who is in charge of, well, in the case of these 6 homes, is it your organization that's maintaining the control or the management of these of these homes?
Parks and Recreation owns all of these homes.
So that
In
would be
fact,
the city
all
of Philadelphia.
That is the
Right,
city of
okay.
Philadelphia. They're all owned by the city, and they're administered and managed mainly by Parks and Recreation. So large projects are done through the Capital Program Office with the city. And smaller repairs are sometimes funded by the stewardship group. So they partner with the park to work on maintaining, perhaps putting on a new roof or a new furnace. And the Conservancy also helps in these endeavors with grant writing and actually doing some of the work.
Yeah.
So it's many hands to
Yeah, many.
preserve these houses.
Well, and which is important because, you can only rely on, volunteers to do so much. But then,
Right.
some of these homes, because of their age, do require not just a fresh paint
Right.
job, but in the case of a really bad winter, it may need a new furnace or it might need a new roof, and you can't necessarily, tap the well too often by asking the volunteers year after year. So, grant writing and applying for funds outside the perimeter of, an admission at the door goes a long way then to help maintain these buildings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it's an important point, Paul, too, that, because we get the majority of our visitors in December, this is also money that we use to help promote the houses,
Right.
preserve the houses. So it's really, it helps our operation, and it goes right back into the houses,
Yeah.
all that money.
So while we're sitting here and we're discussing Christmas in Fairmount Park 2016, a very Philly Christmas, the decorations have not gone up yet. They will soon go up, and I'm sure the hustle and bustle of decorating these homes. Are there any things that, when you think of 45 years, I mean, it's a long time to be decorating homes, whether it's your own home or somebody else's home. But I mean, where do the ideas come from? I mean, there's just so much that you could do with evergreen and poinsettias. But from some of the pictures that I've seen, I'm blown away by how imaginative these people are able to repurpose greenery and Christmas flowers.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the theme helps, because every year we have a different theme. So I think the garden clubs get really motivated when they hear, here's the theme for this year, and here's what we're thinking conceptually of what the decorations will be, and they just love that kind of push to motivate them to come up with some
And
different
they
decorations.
have so much talent in their
They do.
organizations.
They
I mean,
do.
they really do. These are
Yeah.
serious gardeners, and they know what to do, and we just turn them loose, and we're always amazed at the results that they give us.
Yeah. Some of the pictures that you passed along to me look like they were taken when there was snow on the ground. Now, we're keeping our fingers crossed
Yes, we
that
are.
snow is going to be
Yes.
much later next year,
Yeah.
but it really does make it look pretty when you have that
It
fresh
does.
Yeah.
snow on the ground, right?
Yeah.
About an inch.
So we're gonna ask the public to just, hopefully there won't be snow, just imagine it with snow.
There you
Right.
go. There's one of the pictures right there. It looks so pretty, right?
It does
And
look
what
pretty.
home is this?
This is Strawberry Mansion, and that's administered by the Committee of 1926, and the house dates to the late 1700s.
Okay.
Has an amazing collection in it. It's one of the nicest collections of furnishings, with a really interesting doll and dollhouse collection on the 3rd floor. And these ladies have stewarded this house since about 1930.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
It's also the largest house we have
Yes.
in the collection as well.
yeah.
So if a person, whether during this tour or at some other part of the year, they want to go see this dollhouse collection, they could, and these antique dolls,
Yes.
they could go there. Do they need to make an appointment, or are there certain hours that these?
There are certain hours, and we have a great website that has a lot of information on it, parkcharms.org, and that really can give you everything you need to know. And you can also call the houses individually, and those numbers are on the website too.
Yeah. Do you find that as a person either takes the organized tour, like we're talking about here, or they decide to go out on their own and they come into one of the homes and they are blown away by the house, the way that it's decorated, that they say, gee, can I talk to somebody out? How did you make that wreath? Or how can I decorate my home utilizing what these, I mean, are the various garden clubs and the volunteers there, are they keeping the secrets to themselves? Are they willing to share the secrets a little bit?
I haven't been asked that question
Nor
before.
I, I'm not
maybe.
sure.
I think some people do get a lot of ideas for their own homes
Yeah.
out of looking at the decorations, because usually they can come the first weekend in December and see what we've done, and then maybe take a few pictures, although I'm not sure they're supposed to do that, but they might get a few ideas
Yeah.
and then take them back to their own homes.
And a lot of the houses will have sort of a description of what was the inspiration behind each of the decorations that are in the house, and I think they're fairly forthcoming about how things were done. I don't
Yeah.
think it's a little secret,
And we also have to mention here that when, for this weekend, and again, you can go to the website and find out more. It all begins on Saturday, December 3rd. The houses will host Sounds of the Season. Sunday, December 4th, the Stark Homes will celebrate Family Day. December 10th is Neighbors Day. Then you have Flavors of the Season on Sunday, December 11th. And I'm just skimming over the schedule here. But we have to talk about the partners then, Ed, who help you seal the deal. I mean, it's one thing to come and see a house and see it decorated, but if I'm coming out on Sunday, December 11th for Flavors of the Season, I know Chef Walter from City Tavern is helping out here because, look, when you think of fine colonial cuisine or good home cooked meals from Old City, it's City Tavern.
It's Walter.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's Walter. Walter's been a great partner for us. He's worked with the Art Museum in the past at Cedar Grove, which is one of the 6 homes. He'll be out there again and doing some Q&A with visitors about any culinary questions they have.
Sure.
And his pastry chef will be there as well, so you get some nice free samples and try those out while you're enjoying these decorations.
Yeah. And, but again, Lucy, it says a lot about not only the volunteers, but also about those other organizations that partner with you in really putting on a fabulous presentation. I suspect 45 years ago, that was not the case because the homes were probably just open for the public to come in and sort of look and experience the history of these homes. But today, you really get the entire package. You're getting music on the music day, and Santa will be there on Neighbors Day. So you really everybody partners together for a wonderful presentation.
Yeah, I think this is the most holistic tour we've done really in recent memory.
Yeah.
And I think people are going to come and have a great experience. And I will tell you right now, Flavors of the Season is really the most popular for ticket sales so far.
Really?
No surprise, because everybody loves to eat.
Yep.
And we've got a great lineup of chefs and confectioners and so forth at all of the houses. So I'm assuming that will probably be the winner in terms of most popular day at this point.
Yeah. I also want to mention here that the historic houses of Fairmount Park were named one of America's top holiday home tours in America for 2015 by Architectural Digest. And that says a lot because this is a fantastic publication, and they, I hate to use the word validate or certify what it is that you're doing, but they really, they bring it home for you. I mean, because you could put all your blood, sweat, and tears into it, and it may get received wonderfully at the local level, but when you get an organization like that that says, this is a fantastic tour that you're running, I mean, that's got to make it all the worthwhile.
Well, it does, and to get that national recognition is wonderful. And we're, the historic houses of Fairmount Park are always competing with those top 5 tourist attractions in Philadelphia. Obviously, we have the Liberty Bell and Independence Place and Alfred Sally and so forth. So it's hard to get people to leave the downtown core of the city and just come out about a half a mile into Fairmount Park, and we're hoping that they will do that this year.
So is there a starting point and an end point? So if someone wants to take the tour, I mean, they can go on the website and find this information, but would you recommend a starting point and an end point? Or if they wanted to take the bus, where would they get the bus to sort of take the tour that way?
Well, I would say if, whatever your interest is, if you're a foodie, obviously you go to Flavors Day, go to the website. There'll actually be a schedule for the day of who will be appearing when. And you kind of you can plan strategically from that point on. For example, for Music Day, we've tried to arrange the main entertainment so you could start at 10 o'clock at Lemon Hill Mansion and just take the shuttle from house to house and see each of the marquee performers throughout the whole course of the day.
Yeah.
In terms of flash, you can pick up that flash at any one of their 22 downtown locations and just take it out to the Art Museum, and there's a Holiday Houses loop dedicated specifically to this program, which will take you around East Park to all the different houses.
Excellent. Well, that's absolutely good to know.
Yeah.
What about feedback from people that come out to the tour and they say, hey, I really like this, or next year you might want to think doing this? I mean, is that public feedback important for you? And here we are, talking already about next year, year 46.
Yes.
But I mean, is that public feedback, is that important for you, the organizers, to sit there and evaluate and see what worked, what didn't work, and what you might try differently next year?
Of course. The visitor experience is really important to us, so we want to know what they thought, where we can improve, and what they really liked. And most of the time we're pretty good, and we get a lot of great comments. Once in a while we might hear you needed more directional signs. So we're always really interested in what our visitors have to say, and it just improves the experience every year going forward.
Yeah, and at this time of year when families are looking for value for the experience, there is no better way to come out and celebrate the holidays than with this tour, because sometimes it might just be mom and dad, sometimes it might be a family of 4, family of 5 or 6. This is really a way to come out and really experience the holidays in a unique way that you may have never ever experienced before, and maybe even learn a little bit about some of these homes, and I know that's not the intent up front. You just want to showcase these homes for the beauty and charm, during the holidays and year round. But I suspect that many people must come away with saying, gee, I want to come back and learn more about the pirate that that built this house or whatever.
Well, again, yes, the stories are incredible, and we just won't have time to really dive into those the way we'd like to do, or we could do on a regular tour.
Sure.
So that's again why we're hoping everybody will come back and see us again later in the spring. And we do have other events during the year too. I know Ed maybe talk about Rooms in Bloom.
Rooms in Bloom is our spring event that we have, and that's where we work with the garden clubs a second time during the year, and we decorate the houses with wonderful floral arrangements to celebrate the spring and the opening of our season.
Yeah. So I'm coming out this year.
Yes.
It's been too long. I've heard about this too long. I'm coming out. Again, you could go online, find out more information about Christmas at Fairmount Park 2016, A Very Philly Christmas. It all begins in earnest right after Thanksgiving, doesn't everything, but you want to make sure you come out to Fairmount Park and take a tour of these 6 homes. I want to thank Lucy and Ed for being with us. Thank you so much.
Paul.
And until the next time, thanks so much for watching The Philly Factor. My name is Paul Perrello.